Hello again and welcome back to class 359. All right, regular verbs and irregular verbs today and maybe a translation booklet. It depends on the time. I'm not in a hurry. Yo no tengo prisa. I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in a hurry, which means that it doesn't matter. Everything we do, everything I say is good for your ear. You may notice that in the past 100 classes, slowly I'm speaking more quickly, well, more naturally. And so I'm providing you with listening comprehension work as well. All right, the past tense, simple past, simple past, third column, page 169 and 170. Right now I'm on page 170. This class lasts 26 minutes. Yesterday it lasted 26 minutes. This class has always lasted around 26 minutes and 25 seconds. Yes, if you go to RTV a la carta, Baugan, RTV a la carta in Google, you will see all the classes and you'll see 26, 24, 26, 25, 26, 23, 26, 26. March is very accurate, muy precisa, in the timing. So this class has always lasted, siempre ha durado, 26 y pico minutos, 26 minutes and a little, 26 and a half minutes, basically. This class has always lasted. This class has never lasted 30 minutes. This class has never lasted only 20 minutes. And this class has never lasted exactly 26 minutes. This class has always lasted a little more than 26 minutes. The Second World War lasted 6 years. The First World War lasted 4 years. The Spanish Civil War lasted 3 years. The 30 Years' War lasted 30 years. The 100 Years' War, la Guerra de 100 Años, didn't last 100 years. It lasted, I think, 135 years. It lasted a long time. It lasted a long time. Okay, lasted. Needed. I didn't need these pencils yesterday in the class. No. Yesterday I was teaching the passive voice. Yeah. And I was talking about cleaning the table, remember? Yeah. So I didn't need the pencils yesterday, but I needed them the day before yesterday. And I have needed these pencils many times. How many times have I needed these pencils in my class? I mean, I even need the pencil right now because I'm moving back to this page, so I mark the place with the pencil. So I need these pencils almost every day for some reason. And sometimes I need the pencil simply because I'm nervous and I like to hold a pencil when I'm teaching. Yeah. Right now I'm holding. Besides, when I hold a pencil, it's like a magic wand, abracadabra, varita. So I feel empowered. All right? Empoderado, se dice hoy en día más, cada vez más. I feel empowered when I'm holding a pencil. I teach better when I'm holding a pencil. All right. Holding, but in any case, needed. So I didn't need those pencils yesterday, but I needed them the day before yesterday, and I have needed these pencils these pencils, those pencils. I've needed them. Los he necesitado. I've needed them many times since class number 10, I think, or class number 5. I don't remember. I need to go back in RTV a la carta and look. What class, that's your homework, tienes deberes para mañana. What class was the first class in which the pencils appeared? I would guess means adivinar. I would guess class number 10, but I don't remember. So this evening, go into RTV a la carta, Baugan, and you go back. You can go back to class number 10 and check and see if the pencils were there. Or go back to class number and keep going back until you find, because there is a moment, remember, when the cup In fact, I think in the first class, Marta put water in the cup. And I drank water from, do you remember? I drank water from the cup. You remember that? Yeah, she remembers. Wow. I remember too. But I started needing these, and I think in class number 10, but I don't remember. All right, needed, pointed. Yeah, I'm pointing at you right now with my right hand. I'm pointing at you with both hands. I'm pointing at myself with both hands. All right. How many times have I pointed at you? Really? I've probably pointed at you with one hand at least 50 times. I've probably pointed at you with both hands maybe 20 times. I've pointed at myself, pointed at myself with both hands probably 20 times as well. How many times have I pointed at the mirror? Probably I've pointed. ¿Puedo poner probably al principio o después del verbo auxiliar? I've probably pointed. Y lo puedo poner después. I pointed at the mirror. I've pointed at the mirror probably 10 times only, 15 times maybe. How many times have I pointed in that direction? Normalmente es ella y él, pero a veces al revés, él y ella. Yeah, he's, she's, for him, for her. How many times have I pointed in that direction? I pointed in that direction probably 200 times. How many times have I pointed in that direction? I pointed in that direction probably 200 times. How many times have I pointed down? Maybe 2 times, 3 times, twice. I haven't pointed. How many times have I pointed up? To God or something? A los dioses, the gods. I've pointed up maybe 10 times. How many times have I pointed at Marta? I've pointed at Marta maybe 20 times. Pointed. Rented. How many times have you rented a house? I told you about 2 months ago. I've rented, I don't remember. In the United States, I rented a house 3 times. In Dallas, Tulsa, and Austin, Texas. In Madrid, I've rented 1, 2, 3. 3. I think 3. I've rented a house 3 times, and I've lived in a pension 3 times. In the pension is only for 1 week. I lived in Pensión Gracia de Triana, la cantadora. Sevillana, eh? Okay. So, yes. I've rented 3 houses in Madrid, I think. Yeah. Maybe more, I can't remember. But in any case, I've rented a room twice with a family. I've rented a room twice. All right, with a family. Rented. Treated, started, shouted. Well, I've never shouted at Marta. Never. All right. Started. I started this program last year, I think on January 20th. Go back. You can find out. Retuve la carta. I started this English course on January 20th. I treated. Hey, Richard, yeah? Did you treat Marta badly yesterday? Yes, I treated her very badly. La traté muy mal. I shouted at her, pointed at her. Yeah. I treated her very badly. Not true, I didn't treat her badly. I've never treated her. I've never treated anybody badly in my life. No me sale. It's not part of my character. I don't treat people. I've never treated a person badly. I have always tried to treat people fairly. So I have always treated people fairly. Fairly means justamente, o sea, con justicia, equitativamente. I've always treated people fairly. Recuerda fair, escrito fair, fair, entre otros significados es justo. No es justo. It's not fair. que solo tenga 25 minutos, 26 minutos. Quiero una hora aquí. It's not fair. I want more time on television. They say only 26 minutes, Richard. That's not fair. I want more time. But I've always treated people fairly. Okay. Irregular verbs. This is point 21. Every day I say hello to Marta, and yesterday I said hello to Marta. Every day I say something silly. Todos los días digo algo tonto. Every day I say something silly. Yesterday I said some silly things, but every day I say serious things as well. And yesterday I said serious things. Richard, did you say good morning to Marta when you arrived? Well, she came after me. Well, did she say good morning to you? Yes, she said good morning. She said good morning to me. Did she say good morning in Spanish or in English? She said good morning in Spanish. Okay. Has she ever said good morning to you in English? I don't think so. Have you ever said good morning to me in English? Probably not. Yeah. Our relationship is in Spanish. All right. Well, in Andalusian. All right. So, she's never said good morning to me in Spanish. Did you pay your taxes last year? Yes, I paid my taxes last year, mis impuestos, of course. I've always paid my taxes religiously. Do you like paying taxes? No, I don't like paying taxes, but I pay them every year. When did you start paying taxes? Well, the first time I paid taxes was 1975 was, well, it's not true. I paid taxes when I was 16 because I was working. I had a job in two supermarkets when I was 16. And so I started paying taxes. The first time I paid taxes was in 1969. 1968 was the first time I paid taxes. But of course, indirectly, when I was younger, when I was 10 years old, 11 years old, porque hay un impuesto tipo IVA, sobre el valor añadido o parecido, sales tax. So indirectly, I started paying taxes probably when I was born, indirectly. Yeah, they say in English there are only two things that are sure in life: death and taxes. In English we say, there are only two things sure in life. Solo hay dos cosas seguras en la vida: la muerte y los impuestos. Death and taxes. And medical science, maybe in the future, will solve death, but will never solve taxes. All right. Okay, so who put those pencils in the cup? Well, originally, I put the pencils in the cup last year. But sometimes you take them out. How many times have you taken all the pencils out of the cup? I don't know, maybe 10 times over the past 359 programs. I've taken the pencils, all of them, at the same time, like that. I've taken the pencils simultaneously out of the cup maybe 10 or 15 times in this entire course, curso entero, in the entire course. And have you always put them back? The pencils, yes, I have always put them back. Like that. Like that. Huh? There. Like that? Yeah. All right, like that. I've always put them back. I've taken them out maybe 15 times, and I've put them back, all of them together simultaneously, about 15 times. Quit. Yes. How many jobs have you quit in your life? Well, let's see. When I was 16, my first job, well, when I was 15, I was a newspaper boy, and I quit the job. when I was 15. The following year, el siguiente año, I had a job working in Safeway supermarket, and I worked for 4 months and I quit. Why did you quit? I quit because I wanted to go to another supermarket. Oh, and how long did you work in that supermarket? I think for about 5 months. And, I quit. Why did you quit? Because they wanted me to do more hours. They wanted me to work more hours. How much did you earn? I earned $1.60 an hour, but they wanted me to work more hours. And in fact, they moved me to the stocking area, que es reponer estanterías, los artículos, to stock the shelves. And it was $1.60. Well, it was $1.70 an hour. Before that, I was sacking groceries for the housewives and carrying them to the car for the shoppers. And it was $1.60. Then they raised my salary to $1.70, but I was working in the stock department, stocking, and I decided to quit. Why? They raised your salary. Yes and no. Yes, they raised my salary, but I was earning less. How was that possible? Well, you see, before I was sacking, embolsando, metiendo bolsas, the groceries for usually a housewife, amas de casa que iban al supermercado, and I carried them to the car for the housewife, and usually she gave me a tip, a nickel or a dime, or sometimes a quarter. A nickel is de 5 centavos. A dime, escrito dime, dime is 10 centavos. And a quarter is un cuarto de dólar. And so after 1 hour, I earned $1.60 from the supermarket and probably 50 cents on tips. And so I was earning more than $2 an hour. And they raised my salary to $1.70, but moved me to a different department. And I didn't receive tips. So after 1 month, I quit. Yeah, I quit. Why did you quit? Well, I quit because, not because of the money. I quit because they wanted me to work an additional 7 hours a week. And I was a student. My academic life and my sports life and my music life, I was very busy. I had a rock group, and I was a member of the track and field team. I was a member of the football team, basketball, and of course, I had school. So I was very busy. And the supermarket insistió. The supermarket insisted that I work an additional day, 7 hours. I said no. So I quit. All right, read. How old were you when you read the Don Quixote the first time? The first time I read parts of Don Quixote, I was 14 in Spanish class. Yeah, I read the part about Dulcinea del Toboso. Yeah, Dulcinea. You know, it's interesting that the people in Argamasilla de Alba, in La Mancha, claim that is ese lugar de La Mancha cuyo nombre Cervantes no quería acordarse. That place in La Mancha that Cervantes didn't want to remember, well, the people in Argamasilla say, we are the place. And you know, I don't agree. Well, Richard, why don't you agree? Well, because El Toboso is about 100 kilometers from Argamasilla. And if Don Quixote was in love with Dulcinea de El Toboso, it seems strange that he was living in Argamasilla and El Toboso is 100 kilometers away. It's 1 hour. El Toboso by car is about 1 hour from Argamasilla. So that makes me think that no, ese lugar de la Mancha was not Argamasilla. Maybe it was Mota de Cuervo, maybe Campo de Criptana, maybe Quintanar de la Orden, that are relatively near El Toboso. I don't know. Maybe Alcázar de San Juan, who knows? But in any case, read. The first time I read the Quixote completely, I was 20 or 21 years old. Yes. Have you read War and Peace? Yes. Guerra y Paz? Yes, I've read War and Peace. When did you read it? I read it about 6 years ago. For the first time only. Finally, I read War and Peace. Read. Yes. Did you ring the bells in a cathedral when you were a little boy? Ringing the bells. No, I've never rung the bells in a church, I think. I've never rung the bells in a church. Ring, rang, rung. Did your alarm clock ring this morning? No, my alarm clock didn't ring this morning. Why not? Because I don't use an alarm clock now, and I don't use my telephone. What do you use? A coffee maker. I have a coffee maker in my bathroom. In your bathroom, yeah. And I can hear it. Starts making coffee at 20 minutes to 6. And the coffee wakes me, the coffee maker wakes me up softly. And I can smell the aroma of the coffee. It's a good way to wake up. Not ding, 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 bop, 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 bop. No. No, the coffee maker is my way of waking up. So, ring, rang. So, it didn't ring. Ring. It rings a bell. Yeah. Nombre? Jorge Montemayor? Montemayor rings a bell. Ese apellido me suena. Montemayor. It rings a bell. I think Jorge Montemayor. It rings a bell. And why does it ring a bell? ¿Por qué te suena el nombre Jorge Montemayor? Why does it ring a bell? Why does it ring a bell? Fíjate que no digo, why does it ring me? No digas, ring me. Simple. Toca una campana. Toca una campana. Ese nombre toca una campana. That name rings a bell. Recuérdalo así, de fácil, de sencillo. That name rings a bell. It sounds familiar. That name sounds familiar. Jorge Montemayor, yes. He was the author of the Siete Libros de la Diana, the most famous pastoral novel in Spanish history, in the history of the Spanish language. All right, so, ring, run. I ran. Yeah, Inés Garcia ran into François Monet. To run into, además, es chocar contra. To run into. Si no estoy mirando y bam, contra un pilar, I run into a pillar. But François Monet was driving, and Inés ran a stop sign, saltó un stop, she ran a stop sign, boom, and François ran into the passenger side. He ran into, past tense, the passenger side of Inés's car. That's how they met. Así se conocieron. That's how. Es así como se conocieron. That's how they met. Because he ran into her car. It was her fault. It wasn't his fault. It was her fault. It was Inés's fault. Fíjate como apóstrofe S después de Inés, añade una sílaba. Era culpa de Inés. It was Inés's fault. It wasn't Francois's fault. And it wasn't my fault, and it wasn't your fault, and it wasn't Marta's fault. Well, it was my fault because I created the characters. So basically it was my fault. Okay, of course. I invented the story. I created the characters, etc. So it was my fault. It wasn't Inés's fault. But he ran into her. To run into también es tropezar con alguien o encontrarte casualmente con alguien. Anda, Pepe, tú aquí. Yes, small world. El mundo es un pañuelo, decís aquí. I don't know why. We say, es un mundo pequeño. El mundo es pequeño. Es un mundo pequeño. It's a small world. It's a small world. All right, that's to run into. I ran into an old friend yesterday. See, how many movies did you see yesterday? I didn't see any movies yesterday from start to finish. I saw 20 minutes of a movie. I saw 20 minutes of a movie. How many houses have you sold in your life? I don't remember. I think I've sold 2 houses. Only 2, 3, 1, 2. I've sold 4 houses in my life. Yeah, I've sold 4 houses. I sold a house, all in Madrid. I sold a house near Torresoria. I sold a house. Fíjate como la D de sold. I sold a house. I sold a house. Soldado. I sold a. Soldado. I sold a house. Soldador. Sold a house. Sold a house. I sold a house. Vendí una casa near Torresoria. I sold a house in Academia Street behind the Prado Museum. I sold a house in Travesía de Conde Duque in the center of Madrid. Me falta el otro. ¿Dónde está el otro? And I sold a house in Avenida Filipinas. So I've sold 4 houses in my life, but I have to go. See you tomorrow.